There appears to be a massively growing trend where people are walking away from their 9 to 5 and they're forging their own path. And I think there's a few reasons for this. I think some people are simply realizing that the current system isn't working for them. They're tired of the grind. They're tired of showing up for a cause they don't believe in, working for people they don't like. Maybe those people don't like them. They're tired of doing stuff that doesn't bring them the purpose that they want in their life. So that's a choice these people are making. But for other people, they're kind of being forced into it. Because I'm sure a lot of y'all know that there's a lot of mass layoffs happening right now. People are being let go in droves. A lot of that has to do with AI. A lot of it has to do with profit over people. There's many reasons for it, but it doesn't change the fact that there are a lot of people being forced into the position of having to figure things out. And I want to share my perspective on this because I'm one of those people that walked away. I walked away from my 9 to 5 back in 2024 at the age of 39. I retired out of the workforce, and my plan was to figure it out, like so many people are doing today. And the reason for that is because, number one, it's just not in my DNA to work my entire life away and forego all the things that I actually want to get out of life until I'm the age of retirement, 65 or beyond, and then try to do all the things that I put off my entire life. It's not in my blood. And another reason for that is because I've always felt like I'm capable of so much more. So I want to make myself uncomfortable and see what I can do. I want to go out there and blaze my own trail and make something for myself. So that's what I did. I chose to walk away, and I chose to just figure things out. But I can tell you that a lot of people, especially these people out there talking about this, they'll tell you how easy things are. It's as easy as just walking in there, turning in your paperwork, and saying, I'm out. Here's my notice. I'll see you, or I'm going to be gone in 2 weeks. And then it's just as easy as making money. Side hustles, get out there and, create a job for yourself, create a business. It's that simple. That's what we hear a lot. That's what I heard. But when I left, I immediately realized that is not necessarily the case, because when I walked away, I immediately realized that I made some huge mistakes. And the biggest mistake that I made was that I committed a cardinal sin by pigeonholing myself in a single career for my entire adult life. Because when I started my career, not my job, but my actual career, because I had jobs before this, but at the age of 20, in 2005, I basically worked for the same company, not the same company, but for the same industry, doing pretty much the same kind of stuff for my entire career, almost 20 years. And that's great. It's great in that you learn the job. It's great that you're obviously comfortable enough in that position and you like it enough that you're going to stay there for that long. But I'm quickly finding out, and when I left, I quickly realized that by doing that, there are a lot of skills that are left out that we are not taught intentionally that I wish I would have known. Because if I would have expanded my horizons, if I would have started dipping my toes into entrepreneurship and trying to do things for myself, if I would have switched industries, if I just would have broadened my horizons over that period of time, I would be so much better off. Because especially for somebody like me who knew that I wanted to retire early, my goal was 45. I beat that by 6 years, but that was my goal, and I knew that for a long time. So I should have, looking back, I should have been taking steps to learn these things back then. Because if you wait until you get out, it becomes very difficult. Because not only are you learning an entirely new skill set that you basically are completely unaware of and it's totally foreign to you, but you're also having to unlearn an entire, almost lifetime's worth of programming, indoctrination, and just knowledge in general. Not that it's all bad, but it's not necessarily the stuff that we need. And the fact of the matter is that we get a lot of education. Even if you don't go to college, you have 12 years or so of actual education, like public education, and not a shred of this stuff, none, is taught to us. And the more I think about this and the more I reflect back, the more it becomes crystal clear that the reason we're not taught this is 100% intentional. They do not want people breaking away from the system and forging their own path. They want people to stay in this version of society that they have created around us. They want us to be a cog in the machine. We have a role, we fill that role, we do that our entire lives, and then we get out and we are rewarded for that for 5 to 10 years. For a lifetime's worth of work, we get our reward at the very, very end. And hopefully, we're in good enough health to enjoy it. Hopefully, we make it to that point, to where we can enjoy it. That is the system that has been created for us. And that is what they want us to adhere to. Look around at society. You're going to see this. Look around at the education system. You're going to see it. It becomes crystal clear, especially when you walk away from it and you realize all the things that you're lacking by taking part in that system. And when it comes to the job itself, it makes sense that the job isn't going to teach you these things because they only want you to do the role that you're assigned to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. That has actually served me very well in life. I am very grateful for having that job. I love that job. I love the people I worked with, and the skills that it taught me and the knowledge I gained is absolutely invaluable, and I'll cherish it forever. But if you do decide to walk away from it, and if you do decide to forge your own path and do something for yourself, there is an entirely different set of skills that you're going to need. And that is why I think it's fundamentally important to start learning those things as early as you possibly can. And that is especially true today, considering things are extremely uncertain. And there's a lot of people higher up that are kind of barking at us, telling us that all of our jobs are going to go away. AI is going to take all this stuff over and we're going to be left on the street trying to figure things out. And what happens if you're forced into that position and you don't have these skills? If you're like I was and you worked most of your adult life doing a specific thing, and all these other skills, all this additional knowledge that you could have been learning, you now don't have. And you're scrambling trying to learn it at a time when you're probably pretty stressed out. You're doing your very best to try to make money and put food on the table, and you don't know if you're going to be able to have your next meal. You don't know if you're going to make enough to keep your house or keep your apartment. That is not a good situation. So looking back, the one thing that I should have done differently is I should have learned these skills earlier. From day one, I should have started dipping my toes into entrepreneurship. I should have started doing things for myself, figuring out the business side of things, the stuff that happens in the background behind the curtains that we don't see when we're working a job. Maybe that means working with a mentor, because a lot of jobs, if they think that you're a good performer and if they think that you have a chance of working your way up the ladder, they're more than willing to teach you these things, because you could be the person that eventually takes over the company. Or maybe you become the manager or the director or the vice president or the president, or fill in the blank. The point here is that if you work your butt off, if you make a name for yourself, and if you prove yourself to that company, and you prove that you're willing to learn and that you want to learn, and that the skills that you want to learn are going to better the company and potentially make them more money, they're going to be more than willing to work with you on that and to teach you those skills. And that is going to be beneficial twofold, because if you decide to stay with that company, you just set yourself up for success. You now have all the skills and the knowledge that you need to get a raise, get a promotion, to take over. Maybe eventually you could own that business. But if you decide to do something for yourself, or if something happens where you're put into that position, you're going to be set up. You won't have anything to worry about. And I'm sure there's still going to be some figuring out to do, but you're going to be in a much better position than I was when I walked away. So the key takeaway here isn't that I wished I walked away sooner. It's not that getting out is the best thing that you could possibly do. It's not that it's easy. It's that it's actually hard. It makes you uncomfortable. it forces you into discomfort. And don't get me wrong, I seek discomfort out. I love being uncomfortable because I know that when you're uncomfortable, that's when you're learning. That's when you're growing. But there's a difference between seeking out discomfort and being forced into it and having to learn at a time when is not convenient. So if you are one of those people that no longer aligns with the current system and the way things are going, and you choose to get out and blaze your own trail, or if you somewhere in the near future find yourself in that position, I hope this just gives you some insight. And no matter what path you end up walking, I hope it helps to put you in the best position possible moving forward.